Welcome back to the Selenium course. In our previous lesson, we learned what Selenium is and why it is one of the most popular tools for browser automation. But today I want to answer a question that every beginner has at some point. Imagine you write just one simple line of code driver.get https colon // google.com and close the bracket. We execute the program and suddenly Chrome opens automatically. Google loads the page, everything works perfectly. But have you ever wondered what actually happens behind the scenes? Does Python directly communicate with the Chrome, or is there any other another component making this communication possible? Once you understand Selenium architecture, every other Selenium topic becomes much easier. So today let's follow the complete journey of a Selenium command from your Python code all the way to the browser and back again. Let's see this in action. I have opened my PyCharm IDE and I have a simple Selenium program. You can see my Selenium program here. Here's the one thing I want you to focus on. This line driver.get google.com. That's it. Now let's execute the program. Now I had executed my program. Watch carefully. Chrome launches automatically and Google opens. Right here, you can think like everything looks simple, but here is the interesting part. Python never communicated with Chrome directly, and something happened in between. And that's exactly what Selenium architecture explains. Here, you need to understand one thing. The browser didn't open because Python talked directly to Chrome. Instead, here Selenium uses a communication pipeline. First, your Python code sends the command to Selenium WebDriver, and then WebDriver then passes that command to the browser driver. Then the browser driver knows how to communicate with Chrome. Then the Chrome performs a requested action. After completing the task, the response travels back through the same path until it reaches your Python program. So this complete communication flow is called Selenium architecture. And over the next few minutes, we are going to understand every component one by one. Let's back to our code. The line we are interested in is this line driver.get https google.com. When Python reaches this line, it doesn't know how to control Chrome. So Python simply creates a request. That request says open this website. But Python doesn't send that request directly to Chrome. Instead, it hands the request to Selenium WebDriver. So here think of Python as a person giving an instruction. WebDriver is the first component that receives that instruction. So the journey actually starts here. So what exactly is WebDriver? Many beginners think WebDriver opens a browser. That's only part of the story. But WebDriver is actually the communication engine of Selenium. It receives commands from your Python program, understands it, what you want to do, and prepare those commands so they can be sent to the appropriate browser driver. So you can think of WebDriver as a translator. Python speaks one language, browser speaks another language. WebDriver understands both sides and makes communication possible. Here, WebDriver is like a translator. Here, WebDriver is like a translator, which converts Python programming language into the browser understandable language. Now comes here another important component, the browser driver. See, since we are using Google Chrome, the browser driver is Chrome driver. If you are using Firefox, the browser driver will be Firefox driver. If we are using Edge, the driver will be Edge driver. So here's the key idea. Chrome doesn't understand Python code. It doesn't even understand Selenium. So Chrome only understands the commands that follow its own browser automation protocol. So here Chrome driver acts as a bridge and it receives commands from Selenium WebDriver and converts them into a format Chrome understands and then sends them to the browser. That's why Selenium needs a browser driver. So without it, So without it, Chrome would never know what your automation script is asking it to do. So you can understand from the script here. See, you can observe the script. We are not directly calling Chrome here. What we are doing is we are creating one driver variable here and calling the Chrome. Before that, we are importing the library from here, from Selenium import WebDriver. So what basically I'm trying to say is, whenever you want to launch any browser, you should be having a driver related to that browser. For launching the Chrome browser, you should be having a Chrome driver. So in further videos, we will be discussing on this in detail, so you can understand better. Now that Chrome driver has received the command and it sends that instruction to Chrome. At this point, Chrome finally understand what needs to be done. So when we send this command driver.get, what happens is Chrome opens a new browser window. We'll wait once the browser is opened. See, we just ran the script and the Chrome has opened and Chrome has launched and it opened the Google website and page has loaded and it got closed. So remember here we have to remember one thing. It is the browser that actually performs the action. Selenium doesn't open websites. Okay, here Chrome opens the websites. Selenium only tells Chrome what to do. Once Chrome completes the task, the communication isn't over yet. Here, Chrome sends a response back to Chrome driver again, and Chrome driver forwards that response to Selenium WebDriver. And finally, Selenium WebDriver returns the result to your Python program. This is called the request and response cycle. So every Selenium command follows this same communication process. Whether you are opening a page, clicking a button, or entering the text, the command always travels forward and the response always comes back. Let's put everything together. Okay. You write your automation code in Python. Python sends that request to Selenium WebDriver. WebDriver forwards it to the browser driver. Then the browser driver communicates with Chrome. Chrome performs the requested action. After the task is completed, the response follows the same path back to your Python program. So every Selenium command, every click, every page navigation, every text entry follows this same architecture. Once you understand this communication flow, Selenium becomes much easier to learn. Now let's understand Selenium architecture with a simple real world example. Imagine you want to send a package to your friend. What do? You don't go directly to your friend's house every time, right? Instead, you hand the package to a delivery service. The delivery service knows the route, knows the destination, and delivers the package safely. In the same way, Selenium architecture works in a very similar way. Your Python code is like you giving an instruction. Selenium WebDriver receives that instruction. The browser driver knows how to communicate with the browser. The browser performs the task, and finally the result comes back to you. Once you think of Selenium architecture as a delivery process, it becomes much easier to remember. Before we finish, let's quickly revise what we have learned. You write your automation code in Python. Python sends the command to Selenium WebDriver, and WebDriver forwards that request to the browser driver. And the browser driver communicates with the browser, and the browser performs the requested action, and the response travels back through the same path. This communication flow is called Selenium architecture. If you understand this process, learning Selenium becomes much easier because you will always know what's happening behind the scenes. Congratulations! You now understand one of the most important concepts in Selenium. Selenium architecture is the foundation for everything we will build in the rest of this course. In the next lesson, we will install Selenium and set up our complete automation environment. We will install Python packages, configure everything properly, and write our first automation program together. So make sure you practice today's concepts before moving on. I will see you in the next lesson. Before you go, don't forget to check the Selenium interview questions shorts playlist linked in the description. It's perfect for quickly revising today's topic and preparing for Selenium interviews. I will see you in the next lesson.